Hey, what's going on, guys? Justin Fuller, ex-Honda salesman for nearly a decade, tech lover, and today your host. Today we're reviewing the 2025 Honda Pilot Sport. So, in the next roughly 3 minutes and 30 seconds, we're going to talk about how is this different from a 2024 and how does it stack up against some competition. So, let's go. In the 2025 Honda Pilot, you've got a 3.5-liter V6 engine putting out 285 horsepower. That's then running to a 10-speed transmission and out to either two-wheel or all-wheel drive. So I want to throw a comparison up so you can understand how does the 285 horsepower stack up to other makes and models out there in the world. While it's up, I'll just remind you, if you're looking at a 2024, it's not going to make a difference. Same engine, same transmission. This vehicle goes 0 to 60 in 6.9 seconds. That is blazingly pretty good. I'm not mad at that. Now, if you're in the Trail Sport model, I'll remind you that that's actually 7.8 seconds. So a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier. It's set up to be a little bit more rugged. I have a feeling that has to do with it. Suspension probably weighs more. But I want to throw a comparison up so you can see how the 0 to 60 time stacks up against other makes and models out in the world. While it's up, I'll just remind you, 2024, going to be almost identical. This car gets 19 in the city and 27 on the highway in the two-wheel drive model. If you go to that all-wheel drive model, then you're looking at 25 on the highway, so you're going to lose out on some miles per gallon there. And then once again, the Trail Sport is pulling up the rear end at 18 in the city and 23 on the highway. So understand, depending on trim and two-wheel and all-wheel drive, that is going to affect things. But I want to throw some up so you can see how does the MPGs in this vehicle stack up against other makes and models out in the world. Once again, I'll just remind you while that's up that if you're looking at a 2024, you're safe, exact same, no big difference there. Now, when you get into the front row of this vehicle, you've got 41 inches of leg space. It's a good amount. It's actually a really good amount. So I'm going to throw that up so you can see how it stacks up against other makes and models out in the world. And a reminder, if you go to that 2024, you see the theme, it is the exact same, not going to matter. Now, when you jump into the second row of this vehicle, you have got 40.8 inches, so just a little bit less, but I want to throw a comparison up so you can see how does the 40.8 inches of leg space in the back of this, or excuse me, in the second row of this vehicle stack up against other makes and models out there. Now, when you jump into the third row, surprisingly usable. Usually you get into the third row and it's like either a child can sit there or an adult has to sit diagonal. Not the case. 32.5 inches of leg space in the third row of this vehicle. I could sit back there, I could pull the seat all the way back, and I still had about an inch of space to work with. At the very back end of the car, with all the seats folded up, you've got 18.6 cubic feet of cargo space. So I want to throw a comparison up so you can see how does that stack up against other makes and models out in the world. While it's up, I'll just remind you, if you're looking at a 2024, it doesn't matter. It's the exact same dimensions. It's going to be the same for all of these dimensions. Now, if you fold the third row down, from the second row back, you've got 48.5 cubic feet of cargo space in the vehicle. So I'm going to throw that comparison up on the screen so you can understand how is this vehicle stacking up. Once again, 24, the exact same. Now, if you fold the third row and the second row down, so going from the front row all the way to the very back, you've got 87 cubic feet of cargo space in this vehicle. It's a lot. You could throw some bikes back there. You could throw a bunch of camping gear. It's flat enough that you could actually sleep in your car. If you're one of those people who like to camp in your car, you could take advantage of that. But I want to throw something up on the screen so you can see how does this car stack up against other makes and models out there in the world. Just a reminder about a couple things in this car. Touchscreens, 7-inch screen in the base model. All the rest have that 9-inch screen. And then depending on the trim level, it is going to affect whether you have, 6 speakers, 8 speakers, 9 speakers, a 12-speaker Bose system. So be aware, trim level does affect some of those things. Now, trim levels. Let's talk about that. This is a sport model. If you're thinking I might want the EXL model, what is it going to cost me? And two, what is the list of items if I spend that money? I want to throw that up on the screen. So going from your Sport to your EXL, this is kind of what you're looking at. Now, I want to take that one step further. If you're in the Sport thinking, I want to skip over the EXL and then go to that Trail Sport edition, how much extra money is that going to cost me? And what is that list of items that I'm going to get? So I want to throw that up on the screen as well. So you can understand, depending on the trim, you may want to jump. What are you going to get and how much is it going to cost you? So I want to ask you for a couple favors. The first is I hope you'll press like on this to let people know, hey man, it's a good video. It always pushes it up the search and you'll get a lot of content like this. And I appreciate you doing it. Secondary, I hope you leave a comment. If there's something you wish I would include or something you wish I would remove, or you just have a question or comment, I hope that you leave a comment so that I can answer it or somebody else might see it and be able to help you out too. Third, I hope you subscribe to the channel so when I produce content like this, you will get it. And then fourth, share the video, man. If you got some friends that are looking or some friends that are shopping, hopefully you can take this video, shoot over to them and be like, hey man, he explains it really good. He does it pretty quick and it's good content. I hope that you'll share the video. So like, comment, subscribe, all of this. Later, guys.